No, no, come on. Come on, come on, come, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Oh, yes! Oh, that was so cool. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, that was sick. Oh, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to TRF. On today's episode, you're gonna see some exciting fish catches just like that, and we're gonna teach you guys the secrets on how to avoid just catching small bass all the time. Yes! Look at that fish, y'all. What does it take to catch the big ones like this? My name's Tyler, and let's talk about it. Well, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Tyler's Reel Fishing. My goal here on this channel is to help you guys become better bass anglers with every single video that I make. No matter if you're a bank fisherman, kayak, john boat, bass boat, or any kind of angler, my videos are for you. We've got a ton of awesome fish catches and, of course, instructional content coming for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned to the very end because I'm telling you, we have one of the most wicked topwater walking bait bites of my entire life. These fish were like saltwater GTs. It was an incredible day of bass fishing that you are not going to want to miss. But of course, before that, we're gonna get to some instructional stuff. But before that, we have to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Blue Storm Life Jackets. So safety here on TRF is very important to me. I've worn an auto-inflatable life jacket for a long time here on my bass boat, in a kayak, and a john boat. Anytime the weather is bad or I'm fishing by myself, I wanna make sure that I return home safe at the end of the day. And so for this year, I have partnered with Blue Storm, an amazing company that makes quite a cool product. As you guys can see, I'm putting on my life jacket here, and if you're not familiar with auto-inflatable life jackets, you may look at this and say, that's a life jacket? Yes, this thing is a life jacket, and it will keep you safe if you were to fall in the water, as I'll show you guys here in a second. I know that we've all been there, whether a huge wave comes or your trolling motor all of a sudden turns on and you are thrown out of the boat. No, no. Ah! Ah! So as y'all can see, once the life jacket was fully submerged underwater, it only took about 10 seconds for the life jacket to fully inflate, and I'm safe. Now we have several pieces of good news in this situation. First off, my life is saved. Second off, all you gotta do to rearm this thing is get yourself a rearming kit, fold it back up, and you are ready to go back out on the water and have a safe day. Best news of all though, is you can use code TRF to save 10% on your Blue Storm order. What are you waiting for? Get safe out on the water. Ah! Now, what this video title was all about, how to catch the bigger bass. No matter what type of body of water you like to fish in, whether you're a pond angler, you fish giant lakes or really small private lakes, how do you catch the bigger ones? And a lot of the times I love to do videos based on what people have asked me in person, what they've asked me over Instagram and Facebook Messenger, just so that I can help you guys as directly as possible. And I can't tell you how many times over the years I've gotten a message asking, how do I catch the bigger bass? You know, I've kind of mastered catching the 1 pounders to 3 pounders, maybe up to 4s and 5s. They want a new PB and they're asking me for tips. And I've thought long and hard about it. And of course, I've caught big bass on basically every single lure in my boat. And I know a lot of you guys have as well. But in talking with professional anglers and talking with some lure builders, I have decided upon 2 main things you can do. No matter the type of body of water or fishing experience you have, the 2 main things you can do to catch bigger bass, and those are to fish things that are different than everybody else and to fish bigger lures. So let's start by talking about tip number 1, which is fishing differently. Fishing differently could mean a whole lot of different things. It could mean fishing a slightly different color. It could mean fishing a slightly different sound or vibration than everybody else around you. But really, it's just giving those fish a look that they might not have seen in the recent past. Now, I'm not gonna say fish are ultra smart. I don't know what the memory span of a largemouth or smallmouth or spotted bass is, but I can guarantee you it's not very long. But I have seen firsthand fish can get conditioned to a certain, what I'm gonna call the rest of this video, to a certain presence. Now, a presence in the water could mean vibration, it could mean color, it could mean sound. It's really just the presence of the lure to those fish, alerting those fish, hey, something is here. We should either run for safety or we should run towards the thing to eat it. That is what presence can do for those fish. So if the fish in your body of water are so used to seeing a lot of the same thing, changing up your lure a little bit, even if you're fishing it in the same places, the same time of the year, the same cadence, the same speed, just switching up to have a slightly different presence in the water oftentimes can trigger those bigger bass to eat. Big bass are smart, and that is the reason why they are big. If they were not smart, they would have been eaten by either a predator or by us as human beings a long time ago. And so if they see the same thing all the time, it makes sense to show them something a little bit different. And that leads into number 2, which I believe is an even bigger one, and that is to throw lures that are big. Now I know that might come across as a no-brainer to a lot of you guys out there. Like, Tyler, throw big lures. Of course, I know big lures catches big fish. But I found that there's a lot of people out there that fish. I mean, my not fishing a frog on a spinning rod video showed me how big the fishing industry is. There are anglers of every skill level and type out there, and of course, tons of those levels watch my channel. And so I know that there's plenty of folks out there that are fine with the status quo. They are fine with the status quo of catching small to medium-sized fish. They're fine fishing the same lures all the time. And so the point of this video is not really to show you guys anything new. It's just to encourage and remind you that there's more on the horizon out there. There are bigger bass to be caught than the stuff you are probably fishing with. And so oftentimes that comes with, like I said, increasing your presence, which comes with increasing the size lure you are throwing. Now we all know the standard big lures, when it comes to increasing your lure size, are going to be a big glide bait, a big soft-bodied swim bait, a big deep crankbait. The oversized worm is also a big fish catcher, especially out deep in deep grass and deep brush. You cannot forget about the big worm. But there's a few others that I have found all across the country, no matter what state I am in, no matter what bass species I'm going for. There are a few lures that you might not necessarily think as big, but do have a larger presence in the water, which can trigger those bigger bass in your bodies of water to bite. Especially, like I said, by doing something different, maybe fishing these lures in places you wouldn't usually throw them. So maybe fishing a giant glide bait or a big swim bait over a really, really shallow area that you think there's no way a big bass lives in this area. You may throw a Texas rig worm over it, or a fluke, or a shallow diving jerkbait, but you never think of throwing a big lure that has a lot of big presence over this area. And I have so many examples. I'm gonna put some of them in video here at the end to show you guys exactly why you should throw lures that have a bigger presence in areas you wouldn't normally think. But there's 4 lures right down here on my boat deck that I want to go into very quickly before we head back out in the water and see some awesome big fish catches using one of these lures in specific. So let's start with lure number 1 that I think is a sneaky big fish lure, and that is a jig. If y'all have been bass fishing for a long time, you know the jig is a big fish catcher. If you were to compare the amount of catches, or the size of catches, in hardcore bass anglers like myself between a jig of this size and a creature bait of this size, we're talking a rage craw, a structure bug, whatever, a creature bait of this size is not going to catch over a year time span as many big fish as a jig will. And the reason for that is because the jig has a bigger presence in the water. The jig just gets bigger bites. It's just the jig catches big bass. I can't say anything else about it. I will have a few catches here at the end of the video, but if you're curious on how to throw the jig, I'll probably have a video coming out soon, kind of talking about the jig 101 jig how-tos, but I also made one last year. So just search on YouTube, Tyler's Reel Fishing Jig, and you'll find that video. And also use that searching method for any topics or techniques you want to learn about. Just search Tyler's Reel Fishing, and then whatever you want to learn, odds are I've made a video about it, and if I haven't, drop it down in the comment section below. So that is lure number 1. The jig is a sneaky big bass lure. Throw it in places you probably wouldn't. Throw it a lot deeper than you normally would. Throw it a lot shallower than you normally would, and maybe reel it faster or slower than you normally would. Again, being different and increasing your presence is going to catch bigger bass. So that is lure number 1. Lure number 2 we're going to talk about is going to be the topwater frog. Now, with all of the lures in this video, I have caught every range of bass on these things. I've caught little tiny dinks as well as some of the biggest bass ever. And the reason why I include the frog is because you can put the frog in places that the big bass oftentimes don't see any other lures at all. So it's not necessarily that you're throwing anything different than somebody else, but you are putting your lure where no other lures can go, and especially in an area where maybe you're fishing around some novice anglers, some anglers that haven't fished as long, or maybe you're a bass boat or a kayak angler and you want to get farther back into that stuff than anybody else has. Sometimes those are the fish that are big, and those are the fish that are unpressured, but you have to throw a lure that can effectively fish in those areas. And so the topwater frog is really the only lure that can do that. Like I said, I've caught tons of average sized fish on the frog, but I think when it comes to catching big ones, you gotta do something different. And even though the normal sized frog is not really that big, it has a big presence in the water because it pushes water as it pops or as you walk it side to side, and it is different because you can put it in different areas than anybody else is. So frog, super no-brainer. I'll have a few frog catches in here, I'm sure. Now the last lure that we have here that I think is one of the best big bass catchers all around the country, and I really think is a sneaky big bass catcher, is going to be the one that you're gonna see most of the fish catches. Actually, you saw the first fish catch here in the video, as well as most of the rest of the fish catches are going to be of this lure. And I am so excited to tell you guys what I've learned about throwing this lure in different places and increasing the size for the presence. Without further ado, my favorite lure for this topic is going to be the topwater walking bait. The topwater walking bait is such an amazing lure because it gives off, in my experience, the largest presence of any topwater bait. Really any bait that's anywhere near the surface. I mean, you can make the argument that the buzz bait is louder. You can make the argument that the frog, like I said before, can be put in more hard to reach places, thus maybe reaching harder to reach fish. But in my experience, the walking action of the sexy dog back and forth, just gives off the biggest presence. And one thing that I've learned about this lure is that when you throw it in areas you wouldn't ordinarily think of throwing it, you can find massive amounts of success. Now, what I mean by that and what I've learned about the walking topwater bait over the last 2 years is that if you throw it in deeper water than it's supposed to be thrown and you think you'd feel comfortable throwing it, or a lot shallower water than you think it should be thrown, I'm talking 1 foot, I'm talking 6 inches of water, the walking bait can trigger giant bass to eat. Now you're gonna see tons of fish catches here at the end of this video where I'm throwing the walking bait over 12 to 15 feet of water, calling those big largemouth bass up from deep water out of that grass that really only grows 4 or 5 feet above the bottom. So I mean, it's still like 10 to 12 feet deep from the surface to where those fish are coming from. And the only reason why I was able to catch so many and so many big ones was because I was throwing something different than everybody else. Everybody else at the lake that day that we saw was throwing crankbaits, they were throwing vibrating jigs, and of course, catching some fish. But we could literally go right behind somebody else in an area that they just fished and catch bigger fish and more fish because we were throwing the walking bait in an area they would not. And one of the biggest things that I learned is that no matter the size of bass you're dealing with, now the big bass for us today in Minnesota were 4 to 4.5 pounders. I learned in just a few casts that the bigger fish in the school were willing to come up and eat the bigger size topwater. This here is the Strike King Mega Dog. As you can see, as compared with the Sexy Dog, it's a full 1.5 inches or 2 inches longer and definitely twice as thick, definitely 3 times as heavy. And this thing just pushes a huge wave as it goes side to side, has a big presence, of course, a lot more noise in there. And by throwing this lure, it almost kind of satisfied the same argument as the big swim bait argument, which is you're gonna get less bites, but the bites you get, especially if thrown in unique places, unique water depths, can trigger those big bass to bite. So without further ado, I say we head on the water. Of course, all the gear that I use in all my videos is linked in the video description below. Please shop for your tackle, whether it's Lose, Strike King, or anything else, using those Lose and Strike King websites for 10% off using code TRF10, or you can just put everything in a cart on Tackle Warehouse by using those links down below. That helps me out a ton and helps these videos continue to be made. So I say, without further ado, let's head on the water and see some of these awesome big bass fish catches.
Eat it.
See him? Still?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No way, no way, no way, no way, no way. Gonna both flip them, both flip them. Get him in, get him in, get him in. Yes! Let's go! Let's go! That was awesome.
That was so epic.
That was awesome.
Man, how cool is that?
Oh, we got a water spot on the lens. We got a lot of water on the lens.
Biggest one came up, made it right at the boat.
Yeah, let's get a weight on that one.
All right.
I thought she was bigger than that.
I did too. I thought she was like an 8.
I thought she was like an 8, yeah.
668.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 668. That's like, dude, that's like a 611.
I know. That's a big one.
Big one. Should I let her go?
Yeah. Gosh, there's one. There's one. Wow. Okay. Okay. And that's a big one too. Holy cow. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Wow. Okay. 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 Am I recording on my I am. I am. Wow. Wow. You are big and strong. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Bring it up in here. That's a stinking like 4.5 pounder. As my first fish on a brand new body of water. Look at the dimensions of that fish. This is crazy. Look at that fish. Holy cow. Wow, this is like one of the thickest fish I've ever caught. I gotta put this on my Instagram story. Holy cow. Wow, well, first off, we're gonna go with the old ding to mark it on the app. Cage fighter jig. Got him in the top of the mouth. We're just gonna get a weight on this fish. Like I said, I think it'll go 4.5, but I could be a little wrong. It does feel really dang chunky. This is the kind of fish I'm looking for right here, folks. 4.2, 4.42. Just a 0.1 underneath 4.5 pounds. That's a chunker. And there's no slot limit or anything on this lake, so to get a cool 5-fish picture, we're gonna put this guy in the live well. This is awesome.
Kaboosh!
Dude, you were right. That's a kaboosh.
They kill it. I don't know why.
It's crazy.
This is one of the only lakes in the fall I've actually seen them school perch like.
Oh, gosh. Holy smokes, dude. It looks like a smallmouth.
I don't know what it
Are
was.
there smallies in here?
There could be.
Dude, that looks like a big smallie when it splashed, and it's fighting like one too. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Wow, what a topwater explosion. What an explosion, and what a fatty. Oh, folks. Look at that right there. That's a 4-pounder. Oh my gosh. Oh, doubled up. Yes! Let's go. Oh, we're doubled up on big ones. Uh-oh.
No.
Let's do it, man.
No.
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself. I kind of get up here and show the camera your fish as well. Beautiful. 4-pounder. 4-pounder. Give me some of that.
Good day.
This is fun. Oh. And this is just something kind of unconventional, you know? It's like big topwaters on a big point, catching big bass. That's how it's done. Most guys would sit out here throwing a fluke, Texas rig. No. These fish are a little more aggressive than that. And they will eat this topwater. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Holy Bazzoli. Oh, that guy came back for it about 3 times. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so much fun. That's so much fun. Oh, I hope y'all can hear that. I assume you can. Gosh, that's crazy. Why are you acting so big? You're like 2.5 pounds. You have little man syndrome. But that right there is what you want to see. And I'm gonna use treble hooks because I have seen the energy these fish have, and I don't want to get that in my hand. I'm not usually a treble hook pliers guy, you guys know. I like to use my hands to get them out, but not today, Satan. There we go. Beauty. Gosh! Holy smokes! Oh my goodness. Spot lock is right here. Wow, what do we got? What do we got? Oh man, he had me in the grass. That's why he seemed a little bit bigger. He had a big old clump of grass on him. Oh man, you gotta love a big old topwater bite. Yay! Wow, they are so fat in this lake, y'all. Such a fat fish. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Oh man, yeah, he was not hooked by much, just kind of wrapped around a few times. Love it. Thank you, buddy. Oh, that should be a fish. Come on. Give me something big. Give me something chunky. Oh! God, this is so much fun. This is so much stinking fun. Oh my gosh, get out of that grass. Out of that grass. Come on. Come on. Oh, we got some good grass up there. If you're not subscribed to TRF, you're missing out. You cannot fully enjoy this content unless you are subscribed. Oh, bottom of the face. Bottom of the face, which means I can give him a little bit of lip action. Beautiful grass. Let's get the grass off him first and then show him to you guys. Spook, bottom of his belly. Y'all, when they are what I call sharkidoing topwater, they're gonna get it in all kinds of weird places. So I don't wanna hear no comments of, you're foul hooking fish. No, they're foul hooking themselves. Oh, to the tune of 3.5 pounds. Yes!
I wonder if a whopper plopper would work better.
Oh my goodness gracious. No, I don't think a whopper plopper would work better. I think this would work great. Come on. Oh, not huge, but a decent one. Oh, wow, folks. That is chunky. Ah, wow. Holy cow. I love Minnesota. This is cool.
My chicken keeps wanting to go left.
That's okay. Oh my. Oh, there's one. Oh, I forgot the classic. Gosh. On the Mega Dog. On the Mega Dog. The biggest topwater in my box for the biggest bass of the day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Biggest one of the day. Oh, folks, this is so much fun. I love it. Throw something big like this. Throw something different like this, and you get results like that. Oh, man. Heck to the yeah. Thank you, friend. What a time to be alive.